All right, let's talk to the Eagles head coach, Nick Sirianni. Nick is brought to us by Bud Light. Join Ava Graham at Tom Foolery's this Thursday night for a special Eagles pep rally. Meet Swoop, the cheerleaders, win tickets to an Eagles home game and merchandise. The 11-2. Imagine that, 11-2 head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Sirianni. Nick, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hi, Nick.
Hello, Nick. So Nick, let's, obviously there's an awful lot going on off the field, but let's start with this reality. 9-game winning streak, 11-2, and congratulations to you and your squad. 4th consecutive year making the playoffs, and of course the first Eagles coach of all time to make the playoffs in your first 4 years. By the way, also the first time since 2004 that the organization made the playoffs 4 straight years. So congratulations to you, Nick, and your squad on the 4th straight year in the postseason.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, that means something. That's for sure. It's hard to do that. But you know what? We enjoyed the moment for a moment, and then it's time to move on. We as coaches, we talked about that scene in Bull Durham where he's like, "Hey, the moment's over, and let's go and let's keep going on." You know what I'm talking about? You know, part of the movie I'm talking about?
I don't actually. I was too focused on
look that up.
Suzanne Sarandon.
He makes a good pitch or has a good inning or something, and Kevin Costner tells him, "Hey, the moment's over. Now let's move on and keep getting better."
Gotcha. Well, Nick, here's where it gets complicated. Obviously, the moment from Sunday led to a lot. I mean, holy mackerel! I can't believe it. With so much going on, good that your organization, your team, some of the players are in a firestorm right now. But that's what it looks like to me. So let me just start with this: were you disappointed with AJ's comments Sunday after the game?
I would hold back on firestorm. It's that we had a game where we, as an offense, as a passing offense, didn't play to the standard that we're capable of and want to play to, and all I looked at was what happened after the game was guys, saying, "Hey, we got to be better." And so, and that's true. We always are going to be honest with ourselves and say, what we feel there, that we got to be better. And that was the case as our passing offense on a Sunday. But you know what? The main thing is to always win the football game, however, by any means necessary. So our defense played really good and got some stops, when they needed to get stops, particularly on 4th down. Our run game and our offensive line really paved the way for that. The run game, the way it looked like, and Saquon and everybody involved, it takes the entire offense for the run game to look like that. And then also, again, there was moments that we had in the past game that were really good, but we can be better as a whole. But I think that you saw us pass the ball well in the red zone for 2 touchdowns, which is hard to pass down there, and our guys did a great job of executing that down there. We had a couple passes, the 3rd and 13 in the 4-minute drill that we were in. I mean, that's a huge play. And so there's positive lean on it. What was it up to our standard? No, but you do everything you got to do to win the game that week, and we were able to win the game.
So here's the thing, Nick. I hear you on the we got to be better. I get that, and I get that that's AJ's desire, but he pointed a finger at the quarterback. I mean, that is not good, and I got to imagine that creates a hell of a complexity for you as the head coach when the wide receiver points a finger at the quarterback.
Yeah, I didn't take it that way. And again, you can do anything and spin it anyway, but I didn't take it that way. And I took it as we want to get better as a passing attack. AJ's part of the passing attack. And so we all want to be better at it. I want to be better at it. Jalen wants to be better at it. AJ wants to be better at it. And hey, Jalen and AJ are both really outstanding people and both really outstanding players. And I love that our players are wanting to get better and desire to get better. And that's what we talk about all the time is how we get better and how we do things and be able to do some things that are special.
Nick, how concerned are you that infighting on your team could cause an unraveling similar to 2023?
I think what again, there's going to be speculation of what things look like because you guys don't have all the, let's be honest, you guys don't have all the information, right?
Sure.
Yep.
You don't get to see it on a daily basis. All I can judge this on, and this is very similar to, when people were asking me about Jalen and I's relationship or whatever it was, like all I can judge things on is what I see on a daily basis. When I see, AJ and Jalen communicating about the game plan, eating lunch together every single day, praying with each other before the game. And so there's going to be speculation, and I get it, rightfully so, based on what's happened the last couple of days. But all you can do is judge what you see. I have more information. I see them every single day. I see what's going on in the building. And so you just have to, to me, we know what there's going to be noise, and I get, and I obviously get it, just based off of what's happened here in the last couple of days. But I go on my daily relationships with these guys, with myself. I go on the daily relationships that I see every single day that these guys spend 7 hours. Like, you guys get to see 3 hours of it every day, and then a little bit after, or pardon me, every week, and a little bit, I get to see 7 or 8 hours of it every day. And so, and then I can say this, every week, after a game, we put up, I think it's one thing that I felt, okay, if you want to go back to last year, I felt like there wasn't joy sometimes after wins. And so one thing we talk about is just being able to celebrate together and how important that is. And so what we do is every Monday after the game, we show, our celebrations together, right? After big plays and kind of a montage of that. And I see so much joy from this team. And there's, we can say, hey, there's 23 with based off what happened the last couple of days. Hey, oh man, there's a little 2023 vibes. I see a lot of 2022 vibes based off of the way that kind of plays itself out. I just see joy. I really go back to Kenny Gainwell's touchdown against the Los Angeles Rams. You should have seen that sideline after he did that. The special teams has made a bunch of big time plays as a core unit, right? Like some big hits, and then we had one against Baltimore, and the joy that we're coming off of that. I see those, and man, AJ and Jalen have celebrations that are on there quite a bit every time Jalen throws a touchdown to AJ, and so there's a little you can look at what you see in 1 week, but I'm looking at the big picture. And again, I see it as everybody wants to get better. I know there's room for an interpretation based off of some comments, but I can only go judge them based off of the things that I see on a daily basis.
Sure. Nick, you were a wide receiver yourself. Why does it seem like often the best wide receivers are also the ones who want to dominate so badly that they struggle to control their emotions about dominating so badly at times?
I love that about wide receivers. I've always loved that about. Let me just say this: I wasn't able to completely change a game the way AJ can change a game, and so I don't know exactly the feeling that when that nobody can cover you in the world. Listen, that wasn't me, so I don't have that same.
Yeah, that must be pretty cool.
Perspective of it, but it's got to be cool. But I think it's just. That position, you can, again, that you're in one-on-one matchups a lot. And there's a lot of one-on-one matchups. No, don't get me wrong, in the NFL, right? But sometimes it's, two offensive linemen working to two guys, but in receiver, you're out there by yourself. And sometimes you just get these one-on-one matchups and, you can beat the guy across from you, you can change the game. And so I have never and I've coached wide receivers a long time. I have never, ever looked at it as a negative that they want the football. And even if, they're hey, I want the football. I want the football. Gosh, I think that's a great trait to have. Nobody says that, when Kobe Bryant wanted the ball at the end of the game or Michael Jordan wanted the ball at the end of the game, there was that's a good thing. That's a good, because they're so confident, and they have to be, just like a defensive back has to be confident. And so when a wide receiver wants the ball, I think that just shows you the confidence that he has. Now you got to do everything as far as the team in mind, no doubt about it. But I've never ever looked at it as a negative that they want the football, that AJ wants the football, because he knows he can change the game. And I know this, AJ is one of the best people that I've coached. Like best person that one of the best people. However you say that, I don't know the word people or person there. He is a great person. I will say that, and I know we'll continue to get better. And AJ and Jay, I'm grouping them both in there, are two of the best at their positions in the NFL. And the games have looked a little different this year with how we've won, but I have no doubt about it that we are going to need our passing game to, win us a game and win, help us move the chains like it always does. And it's just looked different at times this year.
Yeah, Nick, the only thing I'll say, the Kobe analogy and all that works for me, except Kobe and Shaq broke up. You know what I mean? They did. They broke up because
Michael and Scotty didn't.
Yeah, but their friendship has. But they got 6 titles. They got 6 titles in.
Michael and Scotty. That gets weird. That gets weird, Nick.
That did get weird. All right.
No, hold on.
Sure, go ahead, John.
How did the Panthers unsynchronize the offense, to use Jalen's word, and how does the team keep everything synchronized moving forward?
Wasn't easy finding our Joust.
Gene House.
But it's perfect.
What was easy? Choosing NJM.
Yeah, every game's a little different. I won't get into the secrets of what we felt like they did to stop this or stop that. I know that we ran the ball very effectively, and sometimes the amount of runs that you have and the amount of attempts you have in the pass game, right, are different. The way the game's being played, Jalen still had 110 quarterback rating. How many guys had that last week? I know the ball wasn't in the air a lot because of the way the game was played out. But there was a lot of things that were very efficient in that game there. And so again, you go out and you try to win every single game. I know this is super cliche, but you go out and try to win every single game. Every game calls for a little different approach as coaches, as players. And the main thing was that we won and we did that.
Nick, what about the kicking situation? I know yesterday you said you're pretty locked into Jake Elliott, but in a week or two, if this doesn't pick up, you got to be concerned, right?
We take it one day at a time. Every single time, I can't look ahead and say if this doesn't happen, because the amount of things that you could say, well, if this doesn't happen, if that doesn't happen, there's a lot of things like that. And so I know that it takes everybody in the kicking game. It takes the operation, it takes the snap, it takes the hold, it takes the protection, it takes the kick, right? And so it's never just in this game. I know that it's always. You want to be able to assign blame or do this, but in this game, it is it's best team sport there is. That's why I love it so much, and it takes everybody. And so we all got to be better as a whole. And I have so much confidence in Jake. Again, excuse me. You get to see 3 hours each week, right? I get to see it in practice over and over and over and over again. Again, why do we run certain play or a certain defense in a game? Because you think that's what's going to work. That's part of the game plan, but you build confidence in it, excuse me, as practice goes. And then, it's the same thing in the kicking game. So got a ton of confidence in him. I know that he's been a special player. As you look at it this year, he's done some really good things this year and has had some unfortunate misses. Had one blocked as well, which isn't on him. And so again, confidence is built through the success of games and what happens in practice. And I still have a ton of confidence in Jake Elliott.
Your confidence is important for him to gain confidence. His confidence is what I'm so concerned about.
Sure. Yeah. No. And then moments where it's time to kick, I'll have utmost confidence in him. That doesn't mean we don't go for it when I feel like we should go for it, or punt it when I feel like we should punt it. Every game, again, you go into every game and you have your hey, this is what I'm going to do in this scenario. But every moment of each game calls for a different, you have to have a baseline. Here's what I'm doing here. Here's what I'm doing here. And this is in every situation in the game, not just field goal kicking. But you have to have a baseline there and then react to how the game's going, how the opposite quarterback's playing, how your defense is playing, how the wind is. Like, there's so many things that play into it. I wish I could get into everything with you on all those situations. It'd be fun. It'd be a fun conversation to be able to explain all that. Obviously, for competitive reasons, I won't.
Yeah.
But you know, but it does start, like you said, it does start with the confidence that you have in your kicker. And I have a ton of confidence in Jake Elliott.
All right, Nick, one final thing here. So, you know, with what we were discussing at the start of this conversation,
Hey, sorry for interrupting. Isn't that annoying? What if I told you there was a way to get rid of ads like this?
does what has occurred lead to a meeting that you hold with AJ and Jalen? And does the entire situation, in light of Brandon stepping in and making his comments last night, lead to a team meeting next time you guys reconvene?
We team meeting every day. I talk to these guys every day. I talk to these guys in groups every day. So I talk to these guys all the time about whatever's going on in their lives, whatever's going on in the team. That's part of the connection that you're trying to build. And why is connection so important? Connection's so important in moments like where you feel like, okay, it didn't go as planned. Connection's so important in moments like, okay, maybe from the outside world, they think this or they think that. That's why connection's so important when you're in a winning streak, when you're in a losing streak. Connection's the key. Like, it's not the best groups of individuals that wins. It's the best teams. And so we're constantly working on that as a team. And if I want our guys to work on their connection with each other, then it starts with me, and they got to see me connecting with them first. And so that's a constant. I'll spend an hour or so on the phone today with different guys, like I do every Tuesday.
All right, Nick. Well, listen, good luck as you navigate it. I know it's a challenge, but 9-game winning streak, you guys have been on quite a roll, and the city certainly wants to see it continue. Congratulations once again on the postseason, and good luck versus Pittsburgh on Sunday.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You got it. All right, Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni. I'll say this: he's gotten a lot better at the interviews and press conferences.
He's great at it, man.
Than he was.
Like, he handled that exactly how I would have wanted him to.
Yeah,
exactly.
He did a good job. All right, your reaction to it. Now, ultimately, the key is to obviously dig in with the guys behind the scenes. But
if he handles it with us that way, that should give people confidence of how he handles.
Okay, so the Philadelphia Eagles are 11-2, and now we're getting all this drama. A.J. Brown saying the pass game needs to be fixed. Brandon Graham calling out A.J. Brown and the friendship, then turning around and taking it all back, apologizing, and now every national media outlet believes that A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts are done with each other. However, I still remember this was 2 weeks ago, and if that's too far for you, this was just before the Panthers game. Plus, A.J. Brown already told us sometimes he gets over-emotional right after a game and shouldn't really talk. We also heard Nick Sirianni explain actually how much A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts are together throughout the week. So again, Eagle Nation, they trying to scare us. It's up to us to have faith, and it all might just come full circle when we play the Pittsburgh Steelers. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. If you rock with the content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss these videos. Now, as we all know, there's been a lot of drama since the Eagles' 22-16 victory over the Carolina Panthers. I came on right after the game talking about A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts' press conference. Hurts don't understand why we can't start fast. A.J. Brown answer to the one thing that needs to be fixed on this Philadelphia Eagles offense. He said one word: passing. But he even got worse with Brandon Graham coming out saying the things he said. I think it was out of context, and he comes back and apologizes for everything, saying the same thing I'm mad that A.J. Brown did, I did. I just said things, heated a moment, and even worse, I just assumed I didn't have all the information. So we're going to break all that down. And then we are going to move on, because until I hear from Jalen Hurts or A.J. Brown that this team can't fix it, or they don't like each other, or anything like that, I'm not going to jump to conclusions, especially when A.J. Brown already told us last year after he was caught on the sideline arguing with Jalen Hurts, he skipped the post-game media session, and he'll explain why.
It's a game that we both love, and I want everybody to understand that sometimes the emotions run high, and And that's kind of what happened too. You know, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Doesn't mean I'm beefing with Jalen. No, and also I want y'all to know, no, it was not about targets. You know, I'm sure everybody thought that because he threw me the ball 3 plays in a row afterwards. But no, I was not over there discussing targets or whatever the case might be. It was something that happened earlier, and we was having a discussion about it. And so I know everybody took that out of context, but it's not a big deal. Me and him are still on the same page. We still growing. We still trying to become great and get wins, most importantly. So, but the reason why I left after the game is because my emotion was high, so I had to remove myself because I know all of y'all want a story and y'all doing y'all job, and I don't hold any one of y'all, you know, forward, you know, but I just had to clear my mind before I get in front of y'all.
One law firm, Klein and Spector, has obtained 6 of the 8 largest jury verdicts in Pennsylvania.
Now, granted, he didn't skip the post-game media session after Carolina, but maybe if he did, he would have never said what he said. Frustration comes because he wants to win. Listen, say what you want about the past game now, but Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown's connection has been real, real good. There's a reason why every year A.J. Brown's stats go higher and higher. This year, no, due to the heavy running game, but also to the missed time due to injury. Again, it's a frustrated post-game for everybody, but I don't think it's the end-all be-all. Now, BG did say some things that we got to talk about.
The person that's complaining need to be accountable, and I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he noticed. He, you know, I don't know the whole story, but I know that one is trying, and I mean, 11 could be a little better with how he responds to things, and they was friends before this. It's like, man, but things have changed, and I understand that because life happens. But it's the business side that we have to make sure that we don't let the personal get in the way of the business, and that's what we got to do better as right now because we know it's an issue. Everybody's seeing some things, but we need to be able to talk things out as men. You know what I'm saying? But we need to let personal stuff go and let's get right for this game because, man, it's like a lot of stuff. Most of the time, it's just a conversation that just need to be had. But the person with the problem got to want to talk to the person other than others. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
Didn't really like this coming from a veteran guy like BG. And again, he assumed. I don't know about y'all, but when he talks about they were friends before here, but now things change, life happens, I think he's just referring to how it used to be their friendship compared to now being friends, but also teammates, coworkers, trying to navigate through things. I don't think he meant it in a bad way. I do not like his words of choice at all. But again, right after he gets off WIP, he realizes, whoops, I did the same thing AJ did. And he talked to Tim McManus and had this to say. I just assume about their friendship, and it made me out to look even worse because I had it all wrong, and now people are going to run with that part. I really just want to win, man. I want brothers to be able to just hash it out. I'm going to make sure I apologize to both of them. I just didn't want us to use the media in a bad way. I can't do that either. If I got something to say, I've got to do it to the people too. He also said that he'll have more to say tomorrow when he goes on WIP, which he did. And this is what he had to say as it pertains to his full apology and his take on the 2024 Eagles. But before we do that, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor. The holidays are an amazing time to find out you actually don't know what people in your life really want. If you want to get them something practical, they probably already left one out. But look how small it is. Small earbud, comfy earbud, and it just fits right in. As soon as you put it in, you can't see it. It won't fall out, but if I turn to the left, you can see it. They come in a multitude of colors. You probably can get your skin color, to be honest. Plus, they come with a carrying case for your case. Let's put it on real quick. But this got to be my favorite thing about Raycon's everyday earbuds. They come with an active noise cancellation. It's a feature that I must have for whether I'm traveling, at the gym, or trying to edit/record a YouTube video while the action. Support Raycon is supporting Philly Mike.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Brandon.
You know, first, I want to start off by just, apologizing to my guys. I was going to see them today anyway, but I wanted to start here first publicly since we all was here because I didn't want to make this. I made the assumption. I didn't know all the details, and I still don't. And I was just like, dang. I really just saw everything that y'all saw with the video, and I just was reacting to that, and I should have used a little more logic on it. But it was more just on me, just wanting to, just wanting people to pretty much just, man, I just want to win pretty much. And for me, I know that I didn't add to everything that I said I didn't want him to do. I did too. And, I want to own that as always. We got to stand up through the good and the bad. And so right now, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's a great thing because chaos definitely, create diamonds. Well, pressure makes diamonds. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this about to be something that we gonna bounce back from really good. And we all make mistakes, and this was one of my mistakes that. I mean, you're never too proud of no mistakes, but it's something that I'm definitely learned from. And I know for sure them guys, when I do talk to them, they going to understand where I'm coming from as far as, just on why I assume, just based off the video with AJ. And, man, I know we going to get right because, man, them boys definitely want to win. That's why he was frustrated. I'm a ride with AJ on the frustration, because he just want to win. He a winner, won a winner. All of us just want to win for the city, and we all, made some mistakes in this.
Now the WIP host comes out and says whether it's a mistake or not from your part, BG. I'm glad you said it because I feel like last year nothing was out in the open. This year, you making it public, or it could be out in the open. It can get handled. I don't know. Again, I don't think there is a real problem. I think that A.J. Brown, they didn't like how the passing game was versus the Panthers, especially when Saquon wasn't taking over. When Saquon takes over, A.J. already admitted it a bunch of times. He's a rare player. This is why I understand you're going to run the ball a lot. It is what it is. Then he was asked 2 weeks in a row about targets, and he literally calls out the media.
I think your targets are down like 30 from this time last year. How do you navigate that personally?
You guys are on it today.
What's that?
You own it today. It's the second week. Y'all asked me something like that, but I'm cool. Like I said, I'm just trying to maximize my opportunities as best as I can, and make plays when the ball is coming to me. So
I know I already showed that, but again, it goes to show me that he was okay with it. The Fresh Prince handshake was just 2 weeks ago versus the Rams. Right before the start of this Panthers game, you got Smitty, AJ, and Devontae all praying together. You just don't hate somebody off of 4 quarters of football. You're frustrated. Maybe he should have sat that post game out and talked when he calmed down. But all this is correctable. And again, I'm going to wait to hear from the sources, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown. Nick Sirianni was on WIP, and they asked him. This is what he had to say.
When I see AJ and Jalen communicating about the game plan, eating lunch together every single day, praying with each other before the game. There's going to be speculation, and I get it, rightfully so, based on what's happened the last couple of days. But all you can do is judge what you see. I have more information. I see them every single day. I see what's going on in the building.
Again, I know Nick Sirianni is going to de-escalate the situation, but I don't think he would straight lie about them eating together, going over the game plan together, praying together. And right before this started, we seen Smitty, AJ, and Jalen all together. So again, one frustrated game ain't going to change this 11-2 team. Lastly, you got T.O. talking about it. For real, though, everybody and every outlet is talking about this. However, he would know about not liking his quarterback and still be able to play. But he even says nobody knows what's going on until they tell you straight up.
He said nobody knows unless you got firsthand information that those two guys have beef.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it got to a point when I played toward the end of the season. I didn't like Donovan, but that didn't deter me from going out there balling.
And you know what? You know what is so funny, Tierra? Let me put this out there because people don't know that y'all was so mad at each other, but you had your best game in the Super Bowl. He still threw you the ball,
bro. That's all that matters. At the end of the day, once you get in between the lines, anything external, that shouldn't matter because the common goal is to win games. Right. If you're being selfish and not throwing me the ball for XYZ for whatever reason, then that's on you. That's going to affect
you.
So again, I hate that today's episode really wasn't about a dominant defense. 33 apiece for Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond, most run stops of 2024. I do want to talk about Cooper DeJean getting beat up a little bit by Thielen. The defense didn't play their best game, but we do got to shut out Carolina for some things. We'll go over some film tomorrow. But until we hear from A.J. Brown or Jalen Hurts or see what the Eagles do versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, the outlets, the media, everybody's going to be talking about it. So we're not going to be able to get away from it. And whether we want to admit it or not, if the Steelers end up blowing us out, they're definitely going to be like, yep, it's over. So let's just handle our business, right? Block out the outside noise, keep the inside noise inside, and just work on being better. We're 11-2 for a reason. I still believe this team is 100% different than a 2023 team. I know for a fact because, yeah, there could have been some offensive problems last year too. But two things that we got in 2024 that we did not have in 2023. The best runner in the NFL and a top 2 defense, and we're not number 2. We didn't play that great against Carolina, but they did do some good things. However, 2023 collapse could have been offensively warranted, but we also had a 28th ranked defense and Swift, who we didn't give the ball to that much. This year, you got the leading rusher, you got a top 2 defense, and we're not number 2. We just got to correct the passing game. And Jalen Hurts got to stop hesitating. He wasn't hesitating all year, but this from a get the ball to your hand, get the ball to the open guy, he hesitated a lot. Again, 2 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, nice completion percentage, good quarterback rating, but you got to have more than 108 yards. You got to get the ball to them when they're open. Not saying, yep, I want to see Saquon only 10 carries versus Steelers and 40 pass attempts. No, but if you're only going to do it 20 times, if you're going to drop back 20 times and pass, Jalen, you got to hit the open guy at least 15 times out of the 20. You know what I mean? You got to make more of your opportunities. I think that's where it boils down to. Play calling and situational play calling could be better too to maximize the small amount of pass attempts. So again, we'll find out soon. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Are you giving up? Or are you still rocking? Or are you undecided? Click the link in the description. Go get Raycon, whether it's for you, so you can listen to music or podcast yourself, or get it for a loved one. Again, 30-day money-back guarantee if you don't like it, but I promise you will. Other than that, like, subscribe. Definitely give me your opinion. Good, bad, ugly, sad. I love hearing from y'all. And the rest of the week, we'll talk the good and bad.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and he noticed. I don't know the whole story, but I know that one is trying. And I mean, 11 could be a little better with how he responds to things. And they was friends before this. It's like, man, but things have changed. And I understand that because life happens. But it's the business side that we have to make sure that we don't let the personal get in the way of the business. It's like a lot of stuff, most of the time, it's just a conversation that just need to be had. But the person with the problem got to want to talk to the person other than others.
Wow, it's personal. 11 is Brown. Number 1, of course, that he mentioned is Hurts. Our number 1, Jeff Saturday, back with us. Jeff, Graham later told our Tim McManus that his comments were a mistake, that he would apologize to Hurts and Brown for making them. But, Jeff, what was your reaction to what Brandon Graham said?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's frustration. You saw A.J. Brown after the game. And so, I think Graham is trying to explain it, and no explanation was necessary. I think that's the lesson he learned, right? It is allow it to stay in-house. When you think about the frustrations from a receiver and what's going on with A.J. Brown and their passing game, you understand you want catches, right? Every receiver, that's what he goes out there to do. The frustrating part is you're winning games, and that's the part as the team wins have to be more important than catches or stats or any other thing. And it might be that way for Brown, but you understand the frustration, you understand it from both sides. It should have just been handled in-house and not become public display for distraction.
Yeah, and even Graham seemed like he was trying to discuss it, but then in some ways inflamed it, which is why he said he made a mistake in making those comments. Now, you talked about Brown. It might be about catches. Hurts is coming off just 108 yards passing at Carolina, 6th straight game this season under 200 passing yards. I wonder if part of this is this a winning solution? Is the Eagles' passing game a concern for Philly if they want to make a deep playoff run?
I don't think so. Listen, A.J. Brown, Smith, I mean, both guys, obviously A.J. I think missed 3 games early in the year. Devontae Smith has missed some time with injuries as well. I think it's one of those things, it's a low-risk, high-reward way of winning. When you think about Saquon Barkley, and they've won 9 games in a row, Saquon is on track to break the all-time record. And let's be honest, there's a lot less risk if you can run the ball and win games. I would tell you 99.9% of all coordinators would want to do it that way. Now, there's going to be games where Jalen Hurts is going to have to put the team on his back and go throw balls, and A.J. Brown's going to have those type of games, the 100-plus yard games, 2 touchdowns, and he's fully capable, and so are Smith, and so is Goddard when he's healthy. There's a lot of good things and good weapons there in Philly. Don't get overly concerned with can they. It's why would they if they can win this style way that they're winning. So in my opinion, keep winning the way you are, and when you need it, it will be there.
And by the way, the Eagles 31st in the NFL in passing yards, but like you say, they still got Saquon. They also got the 10-3 Steelers coming up on Sunday. So there you go. And by the way, they got the 3-10 Panthers next, who the Eagles took on last weekend, which brings up an interesting point, Neek. Speaking of Philly, the Eagles, they've won 9 straight. They got that drama right now between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. We're going to make you into Dr. Dominique Foxworth.
Okay.
How would you fix this thing between Hurts and Brown?
I mean, the thing is not completely broken, so it's easier to fix. Like, they've won 9 in a row. This team is very good. The offense, though, does have some limitations, which I think could bite them when it comes to the playoffs. But I think the solution is design plays specifically for A.J. Brown. It seems like a lot of the offense is designed around making Jalen Hurts feel comfortable, and that's important. You have to do that. But I do agree with A.J. Brown. While it may seem like he's just being selfish and he wants the ball, I think that this offense is at its best when A.J. Brown is threatening them deep. So find situations that get A.J. Brown locked up in isolated in matchups that he thinks he can win, and give him a chance. That's one thing about A.J. Brown. He doesn't have to be open to catch the ball.
Okay, but Jeff Saturday talked earlier about how the run game's working. If you can win with the run, just go that way every time. Why not just stick with that and tell A.J. Brown, look, just roll with it, brother. We're winning.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the safer way to go. But unfortunately, in the playoffs, you can't kind of predict every game script. And this team is very good at imposing their will and kind of controlling the game script. But you might get in a situation where you need to pass and you need to be aggressive. And I do think that being aggressive offensively allows the running game to open up more often. So we've seen a lot of explosive plays from Saquon Barkley and a lot of explosive plays from A.J. Brown over the course of the season. I don't think you should give up one to kind of prioritize the other. They need to have both when it comes to this playoff run and shot at the Super Bowl. They're going to need a big game out of A.J. Brown at some point.
You got the weapons, use them. And by the way, the Eagles are going to look to clinch the division with a win over the Steelers and a Commanders loss this Sunday. I'll tell you what, the Steelers, you got to have more than one weapon. Let's see what they do. Yeah. Reaction Tuesday, Dan Graziano, Jeff Saturday with us. Oh, yeah, let's get right into it, guys. All right, look at this. Dan, starting out the week with the West. Nobody is going to want to face the Rams in the NFC playoffs. Dan, overreaction or not an overreaction?
Ryan, I think that's still a little bit of an overreaction. Look, I get where people would be coming from in terms of the offense and how hard funk that you.
Well, Brandon Graham, he sounds like a 17-year-old freshman in college who played at a small rural high school and had never met a reporter before. Like, for a 36-year-old, 15-year veteran to say this is unbelievable. Like, I know the reporters that were interviewing him were sitting there like,
I think that's his radio
that's
show,
his
though.
own
He's
radio
just doing his thing.
Yeah. I know, but for him to do this is, how do you do that?
And he
That's
is the leader of that. Like, he came back to try to get a ring. He's one of the only guys who won a championship with him that's on the roster. He's wildly respected. They were all crying when he took, because remember he tore his tricep a few weeks ago.
I mean, I know those reporters were sitting there like, oh my God, can you believe he's saying this? We hit the jackpot. Like, they have. I mean, they've been all over the place. But it's terrible for him to come out and say that. I do believe, though, Sirianni came out, and Sirianni said that he sees because
he sees them have lunch.
Yeah, he sees them eating lunch together every single day. He sees them praying together before games, talking about AJ and Hurts. I gotta be honest, and I'm not saying Sirianni has get this great track record of believability. But I tend to believe what he said because it's so easy if for players to be like eating lunch together every day. They hardly ever eat lunch together, or they never. I've never seen them praying together. Like that's so easy to uncover those lies, and I think that would hurt him in the locker room. So I tend to believe that, and I think Graham just like he said, I don't know the whole story. Then he said, I assume something that wasn't the case. I'm thinking he really didn't know what he was talking about, and he ran with it.
I see this like Brandon Graham.
You think he just exposed everything?
Yeah. I don't see it as being exposed. He just said the exact truth. I think that those guys could pray together. I think those guys could eat together.
And not be friends?
And I think number 1 is absolutely trying. And I think number 11 can respond way better to criticism and way better to disappointment than he is. Like and could do things better than he's doing it and worry about his own house a little bit more as opposed to Jalen's house. That all those things could be true simultaneously. And I don't think Brandon was looking at this as like, I'm exposing something. He's looking at it as like one dude's working really hard. The other dude's frustrated because he's not getting the ball enough, but he's got stuff he could fix too.
But don't you think the worst thing he said was they used to be friends and things.
Well, yeah, I
don't see
I gotta tell you
lunch
something.
together every day.
Brew, I don't know the Eagles cafeteria setup. It might be that the quarterbacks and wide receivers all sit at the same table. I don't know if it's one-on-one. I don't know if it's a big group. But I'm telling you right now, if we had a rough show and in the post-game press conference, which we actually do because we're idiots, you were asked what can improve, and you were like, the mountain, the tears, and you're like, I'd be pissed. Like, it is not speculation that A.J. Brown, after a victory, was asked, what do we need to improve on? And his answer, paraphrasing, was the stuff Jalen's supposed to do. He didn't say the passing game. He didn't say the offense. He said passing.
But then Kevin had come out and said, there's some things that Brew can work on as well. And Nick is really trying.
Yeah, and they used to be friends.
No, like I said, they used to get along. That's the thing to me.
This is, to me, the story. This is one of the most unnecessary, out of nowhere, small disasters we've seen from a team in recent memory. The Philadelphia Eagles are on the second longest winning streak in the league. They are undefeated when A.J. Brown plays. He is having a good year. He's 5th in the league in yards per game. Now, his overall stats are down because he missed 3 games, but 5th in the league in yards per game. And their entire public media presence should be 2-pronged, maybe 3-pronged, but one should be everyone that you guys doubted is proving you're wrong. Said our defense was terrible last year. Just think about everything I said about them in the offseason. It was all wrong. You said our defense couldn't do it. How are they doing now? You said our coach couldn't do it. How's he doing now? That should be one prong. And the other prong should be we have the MVP of the league on our team. His name's Saquon Barkley. He's going to break the rushing record. That's all they should do. We're 11-2. We're awesome. Our defense kicks ass. We're the best running back in football. Instead, the best player on their offense, other than Saquon, maybe including, starts a fire, and then Brandon Graham unintentionally, but obviously, pours kerosene on it.
Yeah. I 100% agree with everything Nick is saying. And that's what I've said a lot on this topic already, and I'm in a rush. I got to get this video out quickly. You see I'm all dressed up. I got to go to traffic court. So, we'll see how that goes. I'll either be really happy in an hour or really angry for the, Mahomes Mountain. But, so I'm going to have to rip through this one. I got to leave in 5 minutes. Real talk. Yeah, listen, I think everything that Brandon Graham said was accurate. Okay. I don't think he was confused or that. I think he knew it. He just said the quiet part out loud. And I don't think Brandon Graham should have said that. That was a huge mistake on Brandon Graham. And it was like, well, what are you doing? You should know better because you are a leader. You are a grown man. You have been there for a million years. You got to be better, honestly. But I've also ripped A.J. Brown because it's just like, what is A.J. Brown doing in this moment? I think they obviously are not as close or as tight as they were together, A.J. and Jalen Hurts. Now, there's been a lot of pushback from fans and comments in the comment section saying, you know, AJ didn't call anyone out. He didn't call Jalen Hurts out. And like he did, when you give the answer that you give, that is what you're doing. What do we need to work on? Passing. Like he is calling out Jalen Hurts publicly. And then when they say, how hard is it to get, in a rhythm when they're only throwing the ball 20 times or so, and he goes extremely. And it's like now you're trying to put pressure on Kellen Moore as well. You're putting pressure on the pieces of this offense, and it's just not right. It's not what you do as a leader of the team. When you've been balling, when you've been winning, and he's had a huge impact on this offense, AJ Brown. Yes, he's not catching all the touchdowns and getting, 150, 200 yards a game. I understand that, and that's what he wants. But that's not always conducive to winning football. Someone in the comment section said, AJ Brown is a top receiver. He should never only have like 6 targets or 4 targets, whatever it is. Then I went back and looked at Tyreek Hill's best years with Patrick Mahomes, the Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid, and he has plenty of games where he's getting 6 targets, 4 targets, in AFC championship games, in divisional round games, like in playoff games. It's like happening. Sometimes that's just the way the game plan unfolds. The job of the coordinator, of the coach, of the quarterback is to not make your diva wide receiver happy, especially when you're winning. And if you're unhappy, be a man and talk about it when there's no cameras around.
Hi, I'm Sunny Anderson. I have a TV show. I have a